Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, Don't Touch My Music. I am Chardonnay and I'm here with my co host, Kiana.
Hi.
And today we're going to be covering part one of collecting societies. This is a very, how do I put it?
Boring.
It's, uh, I
It's
was going to say,
boring.
I was going to say interesting, but boring. Yeah.
It is. It's interesting, but it's so dry.
Yeah, it is. But it is very important for songwriters, composers, and music publishers. So I feel like this is something that you guys should definitely know.
hmm
Um, on the positive side, this will be a short and sweet episode, if you may call it that,
Mm.
because it's pretty simple, straight to the point.
hmm
But because there are so many components, we decided to break it down into two parts because then it would just be a lot of information to take in at once.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna get into right now is what is a collecting society. So collecting societies or collective management organizations, in brackets, the abbreviation CMOs, are international organizations responsible for monitoring, licensing, and collecting performance and mechanical rights for their clients. So, collecting societies consists of two parts. And within those two parts, there are performance rights organizations, PROs, and there are mechanical rights organizations, MROs. But today we're only going to be talking about PROs, performance rights organizations.
You may be wondering, what the hell is a PRO? Well, I'm going to get into that right now. So, a PRO is an agency or organization that makes sure that publishers, songwriters, composers get paid for the public use of their musical works. And in this context, when we say public use, we mean public performance. And when we say public performance, we mean stuff like radio broadcasts, television, clubs, restaurants, venues, and just any other public spaces. So music playing in those public spaces.
Yeah.
Um, so if we put it all together, it means that PROs are in charge of public performance royalties. That's what they collect from all of these public spaces that play music. And those royalties are owed to composition copyright holders. So if you go back to our Copyright 101 episode, it'll make a whole lot more sense
Yeah.
if you don't already know what that means. And then as an add on, you can register with more than one PRO. And in fact, a lot of people recommend that you do. So not only with your local one, but with international ones, because it increases your chances of receiving 100% of the royalties you're owed, because that's
Yeah.
more than one PRO that is then monitoring
Yeah.
all the licenses that get put out. And so they would know better, or they would get a more accurate representation of how many royalties you're owed,
Yeah.
how much royalties.
Yeah.
That being said, every PRO has three main tasks.
Yeah.
The first one is licensing the use of registered songs. The second one is monitoring the use of those licenses. And the third one is collecting and distributing royalties. We'll go into what each of those mean in more depth, starting with licensing. So when we talk about licensing musical works, what that means is that in order for you to earn royalties, your work has to be licensed to music users. And for your work to be licensed, you should ideally be registered with a publisher and a PRO, because it just makes it easier to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
But in any case, if you are registered with a PRO, they license your shit for you. And the types of licenses that they issue to music users depends on the type of music user. So when we say music user, we mean how the music is going to be put to use. So, for example, radio broadcasters use blanket licenses because then that means that they can basically play any song under the sun in exchange for an annual fee, which they then pay to their local PRO.
Yes, so Kiki explained the licensing part of what PROs do. I'm going to explain the part where they monitor and track the use of the license. Most licenses issued by PROs force the music user to report their use back to the PRO. This way they can keep track of the royalties that are owed. So you might wonder, how do they keep track of all the things? So with radio, they keep track by reviewing broadcast logs. TV, they keep track with cue sheets. With live venues, they keep track with a set list. And streaming platforms, they keep track with consumption report. So as much as they have these things in place, so like the broadcast logs, the set list, the consumption reports in place, it is not foolproof. It is hard to keep track of all of this. Annually, there are still unclaimed royalties because they cannot keep track of where everything should go. I mean, they try their best with all the reports and the logs, etc., but it's actually hard to keep track, which is also why other music industry professionals advise to register with more than one PRO, because it's a lot of work. And even then, still, it still gets complicated along the way. So with that being said, I'm going to move over to collecting and distributing royalties. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's collecting and distributing of the monies. So PROs use the collected data to distribute the money generated from music users to the proper songwriters and publishers. Yeah.
Easy
and
peasy.
Just to name a few PROs that you guys should know about. The first one is ASCAP. I know most music industry professionals and songwriters, composers are familiar with this one. ASCAP is located in the USA. It's the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. ASCAP represents around 700,000 members and has a catalog of around 11.5 million compositions. The second PRO that you should also know is BMI. BMI is located in the USA and it stands for Broadcast Music Inc. And it represents around 800,000 members and it has a catalog of around 15 million compositions. That is a lot.
And it's ASCAP's biggest competitor.
Yeah. The third PRO that you should know is PRS for Music. That is located in the UK. It is a union between the Performance Rights Society and the Mechanical Copyright Protection Society. So it is a CMO, a collective management organization. So it is both a PRO and a MRO. So it's both a performance rights organization and a mechanical rights organization.
Exactly. And then a few more that we felt like you guys should know about because of the countries where you're listening from. Basically, we looked up the ones that would be most relevant to where most of our listeners are. So the first one that we thought we should share with our listeners on our own behalf, by our own prerogative, executive decision, or whatever, is Buma Stemra, which is based in the Netherlands. So the Buma half of Buma Stemra is the half that handles the public performance royalties. So that's the PRO side of things. But Buma Stemra as a whole has around 33,000 members. So they represent quite a few musicians. The next one is SPA, which is based here in Portugal. In English, it stands for the Portuguese Society of Authors. They represent around 2,000, lowballing. They represent around 20,000 members. Then there is NASCAM, which is located in Namibia. It's called the Namibian Society of Composers and Authors of Music. I do not know how many musicians they represent because they did not have that information. And I do not know how big their catalog is either because they did not have that information on their website. Um, and also it's like a baby. It's a baby collecting society.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fresh,
Yeah. Oh,
fresh.
okay.
Yeah, it's not. It hasn't been around for very long, and the royalty situation in Namibia is a bit dire, so they don't do many payouts, but they do try.
Yeah.
And then the last one, last but not least, is Samro. So SAMRO from South Africa. It's called the Southern African Music Rights Organization. They represent around 12,000 members. So yeah, those are just a few collecting societies and or PROs that we felt like would be of value to know about.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is, while we were doing our studies, we talked a lot about Buma Stemra in our classes with our lecturers and so forth. So while doing research on Buma Stemra, I noticed that they also try to regulate or organize the administration in terms of like for royalties for the Caribbean, because I saw St. Martin, Curacao, Bonaire, Aruba, and so forth on the list. I was like, wow, okay, so they even do that side as well, which is cool. I mean, they don't.
They do try.
They do try. They try. Yes. So that is cool. Yeah. But I mean, like for BMI, I know a lot of my friends who are into music, who are songwriters, composers, producers, etc. They register mostly with BMI.
Yeah. I did my internship at a company that worked in the licensing realm of the music industry. So collecting societies, PROs, MROs, CMOs, the whole shebang would play a really big role, and it was like a almost daily conversation over there. And without fail, the one that would always come up was ASCAP and BMI. Always. Yeah. We were always talking about ASCAP and BMI. And then, of course, Buma Stemra, because we were in the Netherlands. But like, it was really just a lot of conversations about ASCAP and BMI. So that just goes to show how huge they are. They are really, really, really at the tippity top of the global PROs in the world. Well, I said global already, so I didn't need to add that in the world, but I'm just gonna leave it. She said it's part of the podcast now because I'm not gonna edit it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that was our little crash course, our little crash course on PROs. Next week we're gonna cover the MROs.
Yeah, which will be very interesting as well, because this is now mainly the reproduction of music and also the digital sales and streams and so forth.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That would also be interesting. So for those of you who don't know what our small talk section is about, if you're listening to the first time, basically our small talk section is where we state our 2 favorite songs for the week, and we also ask each other a fun question.
Exactly.
Yes. So I'm gonna let you start first, Kiki. What is your first favorite song for the week that you've been listening to?
Okay. That was loud. So my first song for this week is called Hard Times. It's by a little band called Paramore, which I feel like everybody and their grandma knows who Paramore is. If you don't, like, get it together, first of all. But yeah, this was from their last album. And it's a fun song with kind of bleak lyrics, but I like that brand of song. I don't know why. But yeah, I just really like it. And also Hayley Williams is a hell of a singer. So honestly, I like most things that Paramore puts out. But this is the song that's been stuck in my head lately. Yeah. What's your first song?
My first song is YY by Doja Cat. So it's literally like YY.
Yeah.
Doja is literally like YY. That song is just a vibe. Like the beat, the way that she sings it is just a whole vibe. Y'all get into it.
Yeah.
And that's my first one. YY by Doja Cat. What's your second song?
My second song is called
Mm-hmm.
Persuasive, and it's by Dochi. It's a song about marijuana, but it's fun. It's fun. Like
Yeah.
it's a whole vibe, the beat, the everything that it's got going on, the music video, the whole thing is so dope.
Nice.
Dochi is also just a great like artist.
Mm-hmm.
Does things very out of the box, which
Mm.
I like.
My second song, I would actually say my second song is Caliber by Coco Jones because I can't get enough of that song.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say my second song that I've been listening to is a song called Nightclubs
Mm,
by UFO Fev, if I'm saying his name correctly, featuring Spice. So I think he lives in the US and he's a rapper, and he featured Spice on one of his R&B hip hop songs, and Spice
mm.
killed it as usual. So
Of course, Stanley.
that's stuck in my head right now. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, ask me a question. Let me see. Excited. I
Okay.
excited for
My
question.
question my question is simple.
Mm,
Simple, easy question.
mhm.
She's like,
Simple, easy question.
um, do you have any guilty pleasure artists? So artists that you listen to, but you don't want to say you listen to because it's kind of low-key
Girl, stop
embarrassing.
it. Stop it. Stop.
Low-key embarrassing, but also low-key you don't care.
Stop. Okay. Do I though?
He
I
said,
think I
stop
do.
it.
Girl, you make me think here. Oh, wait. Bitch, you put me on the spot with this song, with this
And here
question.
I thought it was a simple question.
Hold on. Let me see.
I really said it's chill question, easy
It's a
question.
You said it's chill, but it's not.
Chardonnay said none of this is chill. So like
Mm-hmm.
artists that you feel like it's embarrassing to tell people that you listen to them, but not because it's actually embarrassing, just because you feel like they're gonna judge you for it.
Yeah. Oh my
um,
God. Well, it's not an artist per se, but it's
mm-hmm,
a group.
mm-hmm.
Why you ask you this question? No, I don't care because most people watch it. Cheetah Girls.
Listen,
Listen,
I have
Cheetah
no
Girls.
shame. Throw High School
Cheetah
Musical in there
Girls.
too because I listen to that
Listen,
soundtrack sometimes.
but listen, the Cheetah Girls,
No, listen, the
they're
Cheetah Girls were giving
listen,
R&B.
they were giving Cheetah Girls.
Listen,
Listen,
I'm with
that
you.
song, that song Fuego. You know the song
Let's talk
Fuego?
about it.
Fuego, listen. And so many songs that Raven and Adrian sang, listen.
Yes. Hits.
Oh, and when they did Cheetah
Amigas,
Girl,
cheetahs,
right.
friends
And,
for life.
and when they went to India and they had that song, I forget what the song name. I it's playing in my mind.
Mm,
The Indian one when they were like dancing on the sticks and all the stuff.
yes.
Um
I don't remember it though.
mm, mm, mm,
I
mm.
remember the scene. I can see the part in the
Yes.
movie, but I can't hear the song.
Yes. But no, Cheetah Girls. Cheetah Girls. Definitely Cheetah Girls.
Correct.
Cheetah Girls. Yeah, yeah,
Fire.
yeah. Cheetah Girls. Okay.
Ask me your question.
So is there a song that turns you into like a like full performer mode? So like when you hear that song, like you start
Listen.
performing and you don't care, you act like you're an artist singing on
Listen.
stage and everything. Is there a
Listen.
song that does that to you?
Listen.
What is that song?
Try every song when I'm in the shower. First of all. First of all. But like, okay, off the top of my head, a song
Uh-huh.
that like hits every time that just
Yeah.
makes me want to get up and dance. Let me see. What was I listening to today in the shower? No, those were oldies, old songs. She said she was in the 1980s in the shower today. Okay, so the song that like makes me get hype and I want to sing all the things and I want to
Mm-hmm.
dance all the dances and I actually tried learning the choreography too, but then I just gave up because I was like, nope, not willing to sweat this much for a dance routine.
Yeah.
It's called Pretty Please by Jackson Wang and Galantis.
Okay.
It's just mad hype. It's like
Which
it's hype in a different. I don't know. It's just hype.
I gotta check them out. You be naming some names that I don't even know. I be like, where you getting these names from?
His music is fun.
Nice.
But yeah, Pretty Please is kind of like a house jam. It's like kind of hype, but also kind of old school. I don't really know. It's like retro and fun. And whenever it plays, I'm just like, it just is fun. I guess I would say.
I gonna check it out. I gonna check it out. And that's that.
That is that.
Yes.
Yeah. There's the little basics of PROs and the little fun time, little corner chat, little side conversation situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have any questions, you know where to go at this point. This is episode number 10. You should know where to go. But cool. Thanks for watching. If you are, thanks for watching or listening or both. If you're doing both for some reason. But if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications. If you are on Spotify or Anchor, follow the podcast, rate the podcast. You can go leave a comment on Anchor if you feel like it. If you have any questions about PROs or anything that we've spoken about thus far on our podcast, or you just want to chit chat with us about music things, head on over to our social media accounts. Don't Touch My Music Pod on TikTok and Instagram, but we're mostly on Instagram.
Yeah.
TBH.
Yeah. So I was gonna say see you guys next time. I'm not seeing anyone. Y'all are seeing us and hearing us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.